Alright, make sure my mic's set up here. Alright, so Streets of Rage 4, of course, still working on it. I didn't scrap this project. You can see here everything's been pretty much replaced. All of the mods that I've added in here, like blaze modifications, even modifications to Axel to shave his face, have been properly added throughout the game. It's including but not limited to the title screen, even the ending, the artwork for the ending of the game. As you'll see in a second, all of the costumes, etc. Everything's been heavily modified. As for the title card itself or the text, I went ahead and made it feel more like Streets of Rage, in my opinion. It originally had like a light blue for the street sign that I made for the of Rage part. I didn't like the color scheme, so as you can see, here's my personal tweaks, among other things. You'll notice there's a lot of secret characters littered throughout the background there. Majority of them are from Sonic. I think, because originally Streets of Rage is a Sega game, and Sonic is one of the pioneers of the Sega system, or Pioneer Games. So I just thought it was fitting to put them as part of the roster. We'll move down here, go to my food. Okay, so my food items, you'll notice they're modified too. I did little things like removing the plates from some of the default game food items and, altering them a bit more so that they make more sense to me. I'm just gonna go through the small food items here. That's a vial from Final Fantasy Crisis Core. Just a regular health potion from most really from Legend of Zelda, but from most RPG games. A heart. This is definitely from Legend of Zelda. It's the heart counter for Link. Of course, pizza modified a little bit to be inside of a box. Plus item, just just the cliche HP item or indicator. Of course, a small health recovery from Mega Man X. Of course, a ring from Sonic. This is definitely an apple from Castle Crashers, a pear from Castle Crashers. For the large food items, this is the original turkey with the plate removed. Now 3 hearts for the big item. This is from Legend of Zelda. The pizza. This is a pizza box. This one is a upscaled. It's an AI upscaled version of the large HP item from Ninja Turtles on Nintendo. This, of course, is from Power Rangers on Super Nintendo. Just a large recovery. Of course, a McDonald's Big Mac. This is a vial. I think it's called the High Potion from Crisis Core. Of course, bananas from Castle Crashers. This is the 10 ring or the multi-ring item from Sonic. Of course, personally modified. KFC chicken. This replaces the original bucket of chicken the game had. Castle Crashers meat item. Which, fun fact, is actually a large recovery in Castle Crashers. This is the large HP from Mega Man X. Of course, the 25th anniversary cake. I just left it in here so detailed. I put a box under it, of course, though, so it's not a cake on the floor. Yeah, these are my items. I have to, of course, pick a set that I want to use here. I think I'm gonna go with. Actually, let's do McDonald's and thinking an apple. Yeah, let's do an apple and McDonald's. Well, yeah, it's fine. Okay, I'm back out here. Go to story. I've already created my own mode here. It's called Fun Mode. So here's my roster here. As you can see, it's heavily modified too. Each respective character has their own color-coded background for their character select icon. Axel, he has a blue background. I think modification wise for his effects, he has blue fire now. Just gonna quickly go through his costumes here. As you can see, all of his costumes just accessorize the character, which applies to every character really. But for Axel, I'm pretty fond of him being shaven. Next up is Blaze. For Blaze, her modifications, of course, she has a red background. Her fire, I changed all of her fire to red. And of course, this is a custom skin that kind of sexies her up a little bit so that she doesn't look so saggy and old. And then, of course, this is just a few of her skins. Next up is Cherry. Her background is purple, of course, because all of her effects are actually purple. Her lightning has been modified to be like black and purple. She's rocking out. And then, of course, her costumes too accessorize her. Does things like put her in shorts, take her undershirt off, and add her dad's glasses to her face, which took a lot of work to do. But next up is Floyd. Floyd is one of my favorite characters. He's Samoan. His background color is green, of course. As you can tell from his color scheme, he has green in it. His modifications are just recoloring of his arms and his clothes to an extent too here. And then it's just a personal skin I made to make him more of a cyborg. You know, this is my favorite skin by far. Next up is Adam. Adam's background color is yellow, of course. He uses fire. He has fire attacks, yellowish fire attacks, but not fluorescent yellow like the main game. And as you can see here, the character accessorizes by taking his suspenders off. You can take his glasses and his suspenders off here. And he has a Blade Trinity cosplay. He's Wesley Snipes from Blade. Next up is Estelle. For Estelle, her background color is pink. Estelle doesn't have powers, so she doesn't really, there's no really, there's not a method to my madness here. But for her mods, as you can see there's a mod that makes her buff, and then there's two other mods. One that makes her look actually Hispanic, because her last name is Aguirre or Aguirre. For those who aren't familiar, she's a Hispanic character, and then another character that kind of emos her out, give her more of a police officer feel in there. Next up is Max Thunder or Max. For Max, the only modifications I did to him was colors. I just gave him cooler colors. I think he's a Mexican character. He's not a Mexican character. He's supposed to be similar to a luchador or a wrestler. I do not think he's American. But yeah, as you can see, I just picked cooler color schemes for him, a little darker, and of course Hulk Hogan, because it's Hulk Hogan. Next up is Shiva. Shiva modification wise, he has some recolors, but his recolors are actually special. You notice his background color is orange too, because I went through and changed all of his fire to, instead of being purple like it was originally, his fire is actually fire. So he has, actual orange fire now. Let's be honest, Shiva looks like Liu Kang, so fire just makes sense. Well, for his costumes, he as you can see, slightly modified, grittier second costume. His third costume is actually paying homage to Retro Shiva. This is what he used to look like color-wise in the older games. And then, of course, a Shadow Shiva, because this is what he populates from one of his spirit or for his spirit attacks. Here's the Knuckles. I heavily AI upscaled it. I tweaked the a lot of the features on it to be more modernized. Like his eyes, for example, are more prominent in blue. Next is Blaze. She's another AI upscaled character too. Um, personal modifications like transparency on a fire. Um, Fun fact: I used a thing called Swapper or Streets of Rage 4 Swapper to resize her, so she looks big here compared to Knuckles, but she's not in game. She actually shrinks down to the proper size or a accurate size while you play. Here's a Sonic that I found on the internet. It's a public release. I didn't touch it. It's a HD hand drawn Sonic. It is done so well that I don't have any issues with it. Next up is Tails. Here's the Tails I personally made. I just AI upscaled it heavily, and I of course did some personal tweaking to modernize it. For instance, his light blue eyes, very detailed here. Next up is Shadow. He's also AI upscaled. Again, more eye modifications. This is the end result. It's pretty amazing. and it's fun to play with. Here's my HD rule. This is basically Streets of Rage 4 rule that I drew by hand. I created this character from scratch. I already released it on Nexus Mods, by the way. Nexus Mods. For those of you who want to pick this character up, you can find it there. Just put in rule, and of course Streets of Rage 4. Next up is a remake of Blaze from Streets of Rage 1. I found this it's a public release that I found somewhere. It's pretty much perfect. I didn't touch it. Next up is Adam. This is Streets of Rage 2 Adam, I believe. And this one I didn't touch this one either. It's pretty much perfect, so left it alone. Same with this Axel. This Axel's perfect. I did a slight tweak to his stance so that he doesn't jitter so much, but this is the end result, and it's a good mod. Next up is Max. This is Streets of Rage 2. I believe it's Streets of Rage 2 Max. Maybe 3. I want to say 2. So this is Streets of Rage 2 Max. As you can see, it's just color modified, remove the white hair, things like that. This is of course a public release, and I call it Oily Max, but it's a good mod. This is a cloud. It's based off of Yamakichi Cloud for Mugen. As you can see, I heavily modified it and tweaked it a little bit so that it fits in the game. Super fun character to play with. Um, yeah, personal choice. And this, of course, is Yamakichi Tifa. This is another Mugen character that I ripped and plugged into this game here. Of course, my own personal heavy modifications like AI upscaling, color tweaks, some small tweaks to proportions of it, but this is the end result. And yeah, I got Tifa in Streets of Rage 4. I'm pretty ecstatic about. And then last but not least is Sonic. This is the original or classic Sonic. I AI upscaled it, of course. Did some color tweaking, a little bit of cleaning to it, as much as I possibly could. This is the end result. Doesn't feel quite 2D. It's kind of a 3D-ish feeling character, but nevertheless, I'm glad it's part of the roster. So that has been my full roster here. I was gonna showcase it in this video, but I'll do it in the next video. I'm gonna showcase a stage mod that I have that's pretty nutty. So yeah, stay tuned.